Today, Marvel are giants in the movie and TV industry. From the biggest box office movie in history to kicking DC off the perch of the top comic book movies. But what is their greatest film? A lot of people will tell you Endgame, or Infinity War, or maybe even Winter Soldier. However, I'd say Iron Man. Now, don't click off that video, let me explain. Let's rewind back to 2008. The world was a very different place. Obama became the President of the United States, Britney Spears was the most searched celebrity, and TikTok was just the sound of a clock. But most importantly, the MCU did not exist. In 2008, Marvel were known for comics and Spider-Man. They didn't even make the Spider-Man movies either. So in 2008, they took one of their sideline superheroes, a relatively unknown, and decided to make a full feature film. They cast a man who was known more for drug and alcohol abuse than his acting, and made terrorists the main antagonist rather than a more child-friendly supervillain. DC wouldn't have even batted an eyelid at the time, especially with their masterpiece The Dark Knight going to be released later that year. But in all this, Marvel released a classic that would spark a whole cinematic universe, Iron Man. I remember as a kid being amazed by Iron Man in the cinema. It was like nothing I'd seen before. The suit was amazing. I and all my friends wished we could have one. Suddenly Marvel became a word in my vocabulary. The film is still one of my favourite superhero films to date, but what makes it so good? The story of Iron Man is a great one. We are firstly introduced to an obnoxious billionaire Tony Stark. The man simply gives zero about anything else other than himself. He is also a genius, especially in the weapons industry. His weapons are super powerful, and that makes them wanted by all sorts of organizations. While on a trip showing the American army his Jericho missile, he is targeted and captured by a terrorist organization, the Ten Rings. He is told he must make them a Jericho missile. However, while in capture, Stark, with the help of Yinsen, I mean a lot of help, he literally kept Stark alive, they build the first Iron Man suit, powered by a mini arc reactor in Tony's chest. Stark managed to escape in the suit far enough to be saved by the American troops. Once back in America, Stark announces to the world that Stark Industries will stop making weapons, much to the annoyance of Obadiah. Stark then decides to try and recreate the Iron Man suit from his garage. By the way, I want a garage like that, and if someone can create a real-life Jarvis already, just sign me up please, I want that. Back to the story. Stark finally creates his Iron Man suit and goes back to Afghanistan, and shows the full power of his new suit when he confronts and kills most of the Ten Rings. On his way back, he encounters a problem with the US Army, and he manages just to escape with the help of his good friend Rhodey. Obadiah, with the help of the Ten Rings, recreates his own Iron Man suit and steals Tony's mini arc reactor from his chest. Tony nearly dies, but manages to get his old one and place it back in his chest thanks to Pepper keeping it in a safe place for him. Pepper and S.H.I.E.L.D. agents try to arrest Obadiah, but he is too powerful in his new Iron Man suit. In the end, Tony arrives on the scene with his Iron Man suit, and they fight till Tony comes out the victor and Obadiah dies in the arc reactor with his other Iron Man suit. Tony then reveals to the world that he is Iron Man. It's a great story, a more mature one for Marvel. It is a great origin movie for a character we've all learned to love so dearly throughout the MCU. The fact most people were in literal tears at Tony's death in Endgame proves what a character he has become. The origin story had to match the stature of a character. Everyone knows Spider-Man and Batman's origins, and with Iron Man we now have a great origin story. It did the character justice. Tony needed a reason to become the hero. He was a billionaire, he had it all, and the origin story gave him a reason to become Iron Man. Iron Man was the foundation for the MCU. Without the first Iron Man movie, would we have the phenomenon that is the MCU? Let's think about that for a minute. Would any of the other Phase 1 movies have had the same weight to start the cinematic universe? Let's have a look. Hulk is a definite no-no. They changed the actor of the Hulk in subsequent movies, and Marvel have said it's the only one of their films in the MCU you don't really even need to see. Then came Iron Man 2, which quite obviously couldn't be a Star movie. Then came Thor. The Thor films have always had mixed opinions. They've got better as they've gone on, but I don't believe Thor could have kick-started the MCU. Captain America the First Avenger would have actually made logical sense as the start movie, as it chronologically would be the first movie. It's also a very good movie and probably is the only one that could have started the MCU. However, that could have totally changed the way the MCU panned out. Maybe Cap would have been the one who snaps his fingers and destroys Thanos. Would that have been a better or worse? Who knows? Finally, Avengers Assemble couldn't be the first. The reason is it was so successful in the first 4 years of Phase 1, as a lot of people had grown to a liking to the other superheroes. Iron Man was the perfect film to be the firm foundation that Marvel's empire has been built on. Iron Man did something remarkable. It made way for other superheroes other than Batman, Superman and Spider-Man to be, well, mainstream. If you ask kids nowadays who their favourite superhero is, you get an array of answers, something that wasn't there before Iron Man in the MCU. Another wonderful thing it did was make Robert Downey Jr. a household name. The man is Iron Man. No one else could play the role as well. But Robert Downey Jr. is more than just Iron Man. He is one of the best actors out there, and the world needed to see him. Robert Downey Jr. had struggled with alcohol and drug abuse for many years and had battled through thanks to his love for his wife and her ultimatum. Robert did fantastic to overcome it, but the industry doesn't seem to forget. People shouldn't be judged for their past, but unfortunately that's the nature of this world. Robert Downey Jr. needed a break, and Iron Man gave him that opportunity, and the world should be very thankful for that. Iron Man isn't a typical style of Marvel. At the time, the most talked about movies in the superhero genre were definitely all DC. DC till 2008 were the kings of superhero movies. No one could touch them. Sony was getting close with a good trilogy of Spider-Man films, however, whatever DC released was going to do well, a stark contrast from what we have today, where only Joker and Wonder Woman have had any real success for DC. DC at the time were going for that edgy feel with the Batman trilogy. Gone were the days of DC being goofy. And this was a formula for success. You could say Iron Man mirrored that, especially with the start. But that got die-hard DC fans interested and ultimately converted a few to check out Marvel again. Overall, Iron Man is a phenomenal film and set the great foundations for the MCU and for a lot of people's careers. It has to definitely be considered one of Marvel's greatest films, as well as achievements. Whether it's the greatest, you'll have to decide. If you enjoyed the video, smash the like button, and why not share this video on your socials? Tell us what your favourite Marvel movie is and why. Subscribe for 2 TV and movie related videos every week here on Gated Theories, and if you're already subscribed, thank you so much. Why not also click that bell button so you never miss a new video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on Tuesday with another video. Why don't you love me, love me, love me? Touch me, touch me, touch me.